Hi, Jane Mann, and today we're going to be using the Anma and the fingers working at a level 3. But before we start this practice that you can combine with any of your other Anma routines, I wanted to answer a question somebody sent me, which was, Jane, how often should I be using the Anma? Well, personally, I think you should use it every day. I mean, you should be using it and creating circulation and movement in that tissue. In fact, there's a video by Gil Headly that talks about at nighttime when we're asleep, fascia actually creates a fuzz in between the striations of the muscles and in between the muscles themselves. So when I think about that, I think about like the 70s movies, The Blob, right? Remember how like that just big massive blob comes in slowly and I don't know, people couldn't outrun it and they got engulfed by the blob. Well, fascia is kind of that same way. We are sleeping, minding our own business, and the body is busy, kind of almost creating, a cocoon around all of our muscles and movement. And when we wake up, that's why it's a natural tendency to want to like stretch and move around, and we're breaking up that fuzz. Well, the Anma can do something very, very similar that just kind of creates a little bit of movement between the skin and the muscle. We're breaking up that fascial fuzz. So if you are able to do it just kind of over the body, creating circulation, you're increasing your microcirculation, you're increasing the blood flow, which is oxygenating the cells, and really bringing a lot of nutrients to keep the skin more youthful and healthy. But let's go on to our lesson today. So like I mentioned before, we're going to be using the fingers, and we're going to be working at a level 3. A level 3 is a deep, dense area, and sometimes it's quite uncomfortable, but that's okay because we are creating a release. And I'm going to go right in kind of like that ledge of the ear, and I'm going to kind of lift up, and then I'm going to turn the Anma clockwise or counterclockwise, whichever feels like you're getting some type of release. Now, this will probably be a little bit of a sensitive area. Like right now, as I'm talking to you, I'm just thinking I'm intentionally getting a headache because I'm trying to release this fascia. But we talked a little bit before in this last video that fascia is like this spider's web, right? It's just all over from the top down to our feet, from the top of the skin, all the way down through the bone. And many times in bony areas, if we're not creating range of motion, the fascia will adhere to bones. And so the last video, you can check it out, we did some along the brow bone, and we really kind of released some of the brow bone and some of that fascia that's grown deeper into that area. So I'm going to hold this 3 minutes, and I'm just kind of creating a nice twisting with my wrist, and then I'm going to kind of go backwards. I'm going to see what that feels like. And at the same time, I'm kind of just lifting and not moving, and I'm just kind of holding this area. I can already feel my jaw loosen. The temporalis muscle is directly related in working pattern with the temporalis muscle. So as I'm releasing this, I'm also releasing the tension in my masseter. So let's say that I did this for 3 minutes. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come up now really more into the front temporalis location, and I'm holding up and I'm just kind of wiggling in there. I'm pressing into the point of resistance, and I'm just kind of creating a wiggle, and I'm lifting. And this is creating enough of a resistance that I'm starting to release some of those fascial bonds that are kind of growing into the scalp. Have you ever gone in and felt like your child's head and just how like juicy and ripe that is, and it just kind of moves around? And then go feel your head. It's hardened. It's not supposed to be that way. You really want to keep this pliable and movable, because this is blood flow and nourishment for the hair follicle as well as the brain. So let's just say I did either of those. That was about 6 minutes. I'm going to come to the other side. I'm going to work the other side in here. Oh, that hurts. And now I'm going to go back to the back side. And I'm going right into that occipital area. And as I mentioned when I talk about the occiput, that's kind of the hinging area where we place our head in the shampoo bowl. And now I'm going to just lift in that area, and I'm going to kind of wiggle in that. And for me, going counterclockwise is painful. I really feel that all around, almost like the scalenes in the trap area. And I'm just kind of creating a release into that. So I would hold right back there for another 3 minutes. And then I would go to the other side, lifting and holding. And if you want to just rest your opposite hand that doesn't have the anma in it along that side, you can kind of accentuate that stretch. But play around with the holding hand that has the anma in it, and feel what does that feel like to you? Does it feel like this is a good release? Is this kind of opening up even your sinuses that reside back there? You might even feel it in the temples, because many times when we work the temples and the masseter, the back of our neck is very, very sore. So that's your homework for the week. Let me know your thoughts. To review super fast, we went to kind of the ledge above the ear, then we went up to definitely the temporalis and the two sides of the occiput. I love to hear your questions, comments, successes, and failures. Any way I can help you, let me know. And to the next video, happy onling.